Hello watch enthusiasts and Happy New Year as we welcome the first episode of OJ's Take 5 for 2017. Wanted to wish everyone out there the heartiest of Happy New Years. First and foremost, wishing everyone the healthiest, the most prosperous, and really a Happy New Year. So, I thought it would be fun to kick off the new year with a random selection of 5 watches I thought would be cool to bring in the new year. These are watches that I just looked through our bins and I said, if I was starting off the new year looking for a watch to put on my wrist, which 5 would they be? And I came up with this selection in front of me today. Before we begin, just wanted to do a quick wrist check. Got a new piece on my right wrist. On my left wrist, we've got the FP Journe, the Elegante 48. It's a watch that, for all the watches that I have, this watch seems to get more attention than any other watch, more than my Bronzos, more than any other watch. This is the Elegante 48 from FP Journe, and I think it's cool because it's a quartz watch. Most importantly, I love when I take it off, the watch stops, and then when I pick it up, I can watch the hands move until they correct themselves to the actual correct time. So that's one of the things I love about this watch. As much as it is a quartz watch, I consider it a watch that's probably not going to be long-lived, knowing FP Journe's penance for authenticity and for high precision. I don't know how you can lump quartz into that, but, we'll see. In either case, supposedly it's been made in very limited production, and it's a watch that I really enjoyed wearing. Super comfortable, titanium case, really light, 48 millimeter in height from lug to lug, but wears probably comparable to about a 39 millimeter watch. On my right wrist, something new. This is a watch I recently picked up, and I have not seen any of these, surprisingly, on the web. None of these are on the net that I can find. This is the Tudor, the LHD, also known as the left-hand dive. Now, not left-hand drive, but left-hand dive. This watch is sort of designed like a vintage red Submariner. It's got in red right here above the 4-line chronometer, officially certified, rotor, self-winding, and then the depth rating, which is 500 meters. It's got in red the Pelagos. So this is the Pelagos diver's model, the 43 millimeter titanium case. It's the Pelagos, but this watch is a little unique because the winding crown is at 9 o'clock. So it's a destro of sorts, meaning if you wore it on your right hand, you'd be winding it and adjusting the time with the crown using your left hand. But of course, as a regular right-handed person, it doesn't feel any different being worn on the left hand or right hand, in my opinion. Just a super comfortable and cool watch. And what I love about it, I love the spring-loaded clasp on the bracelet. I love the titanium bracelet. I love the way they made the lume look like the authentic tritium luminous material from the 70s and the 80s. There it is upside down, whoops. So, and there's no chrome or outline around the marker, so it looks like a matte dial red Submariner almost. That really is kind of the effect that they were going for with this watch, with the date squarely at 3 o'clock. Super legible. You've got the snowflake-inspired hour and minute hands and square-shaped hour markers. Sort of a hybrid between your snowflake Tudor Sub and your red Submariner, in my opinion. But a very cool watch, and one you really just don't see very many of. So, without further ado, OJ's Take 5, 5 cool watches to start off the new year. Alrighty, let's see. My number 1 watch on the table here, I'm gonna take this watch off. I'll leave it on the table so you guys can see it though. Number 1 watch that I picked out when I was going through our bins, and I just happen to love this watch. I don't think it gets, as much acclaim as I think it deserves. But this is the Chopard Classic Racing Super Fast Power Control, also known as the Reserve de Marche or Power Reserve. So this is an automatic watch. This watch features a 45 millimeter stainless case, and the stainless steel case is both brushed as well as polished and features these ridges on the edges, which I think is really cool, sort of giving you the look and feel of kind of an automobile car grille, if you will, kind of that grille effect. On both the left side and the right side, you have those ridges, and it really gives a lot of character to the case, along with these 2 little bars right here that hold the bezel to the case and to the case back. But a super cool watch, and what I really love about this watch, I love that black kind of graphite striped dial. You know, it's striped on the left side and the right side, but not going, and it's a vertical striping as opposed to a horizontal striping, sort of like a tuxedo pattern, if you will. But the middle of the dial is a plain or smooth area. That's just very cool. I love the power control or the power reserve indicator at 9 o'clock, or in this case, it really spans between 8 and 10 o'clock. It's a contrasting silver power reserve indicator in the theme of, you guessed it, a gas tank, because after all, this is an automobile-inspired watch. So the power reserve indicator is designed in the theme of a gas tank being empty or full, and you've got that red range there to show when you're running out of gas or running out of power. Of course, if you're wearing the watch, it's not going to stop on your wrist, but you know, power reserve indicators have been appearing more and more on automatic watches, and it's just a very neat aesthetic at this point. Subdial at 6 o'clock for your constant seconds, and you've got a really legible date at 3 o'clock, a nice luminous 12 o'clock Arabic hour marker, and then of course you've got very broad lume-filled hour and minute hands. Now, one of the features that a lot of people don't realize this watch has, that I think is probably one of the coolest things, is you actually have red sort of sub-seconds lines, and they're printed on the underside of the crystal, just opposite that sort of angled flange on the outer edge of the bezel. So you've got your minute markers, but then you've got little red markers that serve as your seconds markers almost, and it's just super cool. Very subtle. You almost would miss it, but when you look at it, you see just a tinge of red, and I'm just going to try to angle it so you can see that red marking. Now, supposedly those red markings are actually on the underside of the crystal. This watch features a see-through case back, and one of the neat things also about this watch is you have a classic vintage style steering wheel on the tip of the winding crown, sort of in the style of that original Nardi steering wheel. And that's part of that classic racing motif, if you will. So this watch retails for over $10,000, $10,300 I think is the retail. We've got it here on Watch You Want It, $59.95. And like I said, just a really cool watch with a sporty black rubber waterproof sport strap, folding deployant clasp. Just a really great value and a really cool watch in my opinion. A lot of fun, very versatile. You put a black alligator strap on here, and I think you can wear it with a suit or a tuxedo any day of the week. But of course, with the rubber strap, it gives it definitely an air of sportiness to it. That's watch number one. Watch number two is a perennial favorite of mine. This is the Breguet Type 21 Transatlantique. This is the automatic flyback chronograph with date complication. And of course, you've got the flyback reset chronograph mechanism as well. What I love about this watch, aside from the fact that you've got this 43mm brushed stainless steel case, you've got the coin edging on the sides, which I love. You've got a bi-directional rotating bezel. This watch also packs an AM/PM indicator on one of the subdials. You've got the date at 6 o'clock and a full function 12-hour chronograph. But I love the dial. For me, that dial is everything. It's like sort of they describe it as being rhodium. I describe it as being rhodium, sort of an ardoise color, if you will. You know, think root beer candy that you've sucked on for about 10 minutes, and as it becomes sort of translucent, that to me is what this dial reminds me of. It's sort of silvery, sort of brown, sort of translucent, and yet a lot of people would dismiss it as black. So it's very subtle, but very unique, in my opinion, compared to most other sport watches, which are just sort of a blah black dial. This is really that brown dial, and further accented by that chocolate brown alligator strap with the contrasting white stitching. Comes on that stainless steel folding deployant buckle. Solid case back, and a great watch. I mean, this is a venerable favorite in the Breguet lineup. This watch features a 45-hour power reserve, and it's a Breguet 589F flyback chronograph caliber. So there you have it. The chronograph pushers are plunger style, so there's nothing to screw down or anything like that. And again, it is a flyback, so you can reset the chronograph on the fly. Also has a screw down winding crown, and it's a 43mm stainless steel case. So this watch has a retail of $11,800. and we've got it on the Watch You Want website at $69.95. That's watch number 2 today. Watch number 3. Gosh, you know, this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite offshores ever made. This was one of the original offshore themes models. This is the Safari. You know, this was such a unique watch in its day with the ivory dial, with the translucent brown hour and minute hands, and the matching big bold Arabic numbers for the hour markers that are in that same matching sort of almost translucent brown. Again, a lot of people might think or pass it off as black, but if you really look closely at these hands, at these numbers, they're actually a very dark brown and almost have like a translucent quality to them, which I just love. You know, this is the classic V1 AP Safari on the brown hornback Safari strap. This was one of the first watches to feature that hornback style with the bone of the alligator or crocodile right through the middle of the strap. This was probably the first incarnation of the hornback alligator strap. Ivory dial, not to be confused for white. So it just goes great with all things natural, all things sort of earth tones, if you will. Your khakis, your browns, your grays, and everything in between. Just love this watch. This watch, as the V1, features the original rubber chronograph pushers, as well as the rubber winding crown. Now, the latest version of this has actually ceramic chronograph pushers as opposed to the rubber ones. And these rubber pushers are actually like a dark black. They're not quite brown, but they're a black. Just a cool watch. You've got a super legible date at 3 o'clock. And again, I think it's really just a timeless watch and a great watch to bring in the new year. So this watch, the current edition AP Offshore on a strap, retails for around $26,000. We've got this watch on our website at $15,995. Let's go with number 4, shall we? Okay, number 4, the Rolex Submariner. This is the latest incarnation. This is the reference 116613, the two-tone Submariner with the blue cerachromic bezel and the matching blue dial. Now, what I find interesting is there's probably 3 different versions of that blue dial out there. There's a more Smurfy blue, there's a more purpley blue, and a more royal blue. And, you know, this one I find to be more of the royal blue variation. I just love this watch. It's a 40mm stainless steel case with yellow gold accents. You've got your yellow gold winding crown, your yellow gold bezel with the cerachromic or ceramic inset. And of course, you've got that maxi dial with those big, bold, round hour markers and those really easy to read lume-filled hands. Of course, the date's at 3 o'clock. You know, I love this watch because with the new design of the cerachromic bezel and the new design of this bracelet, I feel like it wears more like a 41, 42mm watch in my head. So this particular watch, you know, I love the fact that it's got a brushed stainless steel case with high polished accents and of course the yellow accents. And then of course you've got the oyster bracelet, the traditional oyster bracelet. This is the latest rev of the oyster bracelet, so in which it features the glide lock quick adjust clasp. So it allows you to adjust the clasp without having to remove any links, up to about 2 to 3 links. It could certainly serve as a diver's extension, although the diver's extension is not adjustable to fine-tuned lengths like this, because you can adjust this for just 1 link or 2 links or 3 links, or probably about 3 links is about what you get out of this. But just a super flexible, a super versatile micro adjustment system that is just so smooth and so comfortable. As you're wearing this, as your wrist expands or contracts on the fly, you can adjust it. And again, the diver's extension is just giving you, you know, the equivalent of about 2 links plus or minus. With this extension, this micro glide system, you can really fine tune it by a link, a quarter link, or up to about 2.5, 3 links. So I would encourage you to look at this watch on our website. One other feature I really like about this watch actually has the original factory applied protective stickers on it. So I don't think it's really ever been worn, although I would never use the word never. At the very least, I can tell you it still has its original protective stickers and looks like it's rarely, if ever, been worn. So this watch, you know, retails for over $13,000. We've got this watch on our website at $10,995. Again, Rolex Submariner 116613, the latest and greatest two-tone Cerachromic Submariner. For our final watch, this is a watch that I'm just loving. You know, I personally, I just think this is just such a classic and great watch. You know, I won't make any bones about it. I'm not the biggest Patek Philippe fan you ever did meet, but this is probably one of my favorite models that they've ever made. This is the 5135, the Annual Calendario Gondolo. So it's the square-shaped case. Now, according to our description, we're calling this 38 millimeter, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a 41 millimeter watch in all respects. You know, it's got a square case and wears really, really nice. A super open dial, super legible, and just a really great, in my head, a very practical watch. As an annual calendar, you've got your day, your date, and your month. Super easy to adjust, and in fact, you only have to adjust it once per year after leap year. Or not after leap year, but after February 28th. Otherwise, it knows exactly how many days are in each of the months other than February. It's going to assume there's always 28 days, or Tim, how many days does an annual calendar assume are in February?
The annual calendar, regardless, is always going to assume that there are
31 days in February, exactly. So there you go. You only have to adjust it once per year. So as the 5135, I believe this is a discontinued model. This watch had a previous retail of around, if I'm not mistaken, around $45,000. We've got this watch on our website at, let me look at my notes here, sorry. We've got this watch on our website at $32,495. And again, what I love is that anthracite dial on the white gold. The white gold is the only version you can get the anthracite dial. It's just a smooth gray anthracite. You've got your moon phase at 6 o'clock. You've also got your AM, PM 24-hour indicator at 6 o'clock. You've got your day, your date, and your month at 10, at 2, and at 12. Just a super legible, great watch. I think it can be worn super flexibly as far as with a suit, with jeans and a shirt. Really, I think you can wear this with anything at any time. And it just exudes class and sophistication. But in my head, it's not a watch that says, hey, look at me. So I think it's definitely a little understated. And at the same time, anyone who knows watches will appreciate what you're wearing on your wrist. It's got a see-through case back, automatic movement, a great value for a quintessential annual calendar Patek Philippe. And you're not paying what you'd pay for a perpetual calendar. In fact, based on what you're paying for this, you're paying just a slight premium over what you'd pay for an automatic Calatrava, as far as I'm concerned. This watch has a dark brown alligator strap and an 18-karat white gold tang buckle. Super comfortable, and you can check this watch along with these other 4 watches that I've talked about on our website, watchyouwant.com. Hey guys, really, I hope you guys all have the most prosperous, the healthiest, the happiest of New Year's in 2017. I'm looking forward to coming at you with a whole lot of new content and looking forward to having a great time showing you our watches. As always, thank you so very much for your time, and wear your watches in the best of health. This is O.J. Watley signing off. Have a great day.